Hello everyone, and today is the Just Cards video hop, which was supposed to be about masculine cards, but I'm an idiot and made a very feminine card for the masculine card video hop. Anyway, we're playing with some neat and tangled stamps today, some eyelets, some pretty pink posh dies. I've already pre-colored my images because colored pencil coloring takes a very long time. This is a pretty pink posh frame, and I'm running it through my Gemini, and remember to flip it and spin it. I don't need to run it through twice, but I do that to maintain my plates. And this is Neenah 110. I'm also using Neenah 110 for the background, and I'm just making some marks so I can cut that down so it will live behind the frame. This is the Tonic trimmer, the smaller one, and I love it for this purpose, just to make really accurate straight cuts. And so the ink blending that I'm doing, I'm going to use Distress Oxide inks, and you really don't need Bristol paper for this. I'm taking this MFT, it's a stencil, like a Hills stencil, and I'm just cutting Avery repositionable label sheets to mask where I'm going to ink blend. Instead of using the stencil, I'm cutting the masks because I tend to really go hard with the ink blending, and instead of taping down everything in the stencil, I'm just doing it this way. Okay, so I'm using Distress Oxide Abandoned Coral, and then I'm blending that into Wild Honey on the top part of the sky in my card scene here. And then I'm going to go in with, I believe, Twisted Citron for the grass or the ground in my ink blending background. I find that I use a lot of muscle. You'll see that I took off my sweatshirt because you sweat when you ink blend, okay? And when I make these masks for the background, it makes it a little easier for me. So I'm not trying to hold down the stencil and the ink blending. It just works for me. I do love using the stencil as it was intended. But this Twisted Citron is a really bright green. I love it for ground, and it looks gorgeous with this Abandoned Coral and the Wild Honey background. It's so whimsical and imagination and all of the things that I expected it to be when I was thinking about this card. So I want to put some eyelets in my card, and this is more for function. It's not really for aesthetic purposes because you're really not going to see it. I'm putting these eyelets in so that I can have some balloons trailing behind the bike. Okay, so I have this eyelet setter. It's a silent setter by Provocraft, and it comes with all of these goodies, including the eyelets that you see there. And I am lining up where I'm going to put the eyelets. You have 3 different choices: small, medium, and large. So basically take out your eyelets that you're planning on using and line them up with the holes that these things are supposed to punch. Now I see that this medium punch is perfect for the eyelet that I'm going to use today. So you have a punch and a setter, okay? So you take this big honkin' thing that looks like a door handle, and it magnetically goes into the handle, okay? I mean, it just pulls it right in. And then you put some muscle in it, and you poke the hole. It's like a sharp, it has like a sharp end. So you poke the holes with some muscle. This is me using my muscles that I don't have. So, and then you take the eyelets that you plan on using and the setter portion, okay, so this is going to push down the backing of the eyelet. So once you have the eyelet, you put it through the hole, and then you line it up on the back side, and then you do the same motions to set the eyelets onto your project, okay? There's no smashing, there's no banging. That's why it's called the silent setter. I used to have the one where you bang it, you know, and it was kind of fun, but you know, when you have kids and people that you don't want to disturb, I like this one. So it just packs up into the little case and goes and lives in the drawer. So I've got this white I think it's just twine, like white regular twine. I believe it's Stampin' Up. It's just white, and I'm running it through both sides, and I'm leaving it a little bit loose, and I'm going to use this washi tape that I got from Amazon that is not good for anything except it's like the stickiest washi tape I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, I'm using it to hold the back of this little piece of twine here onto my project. You're not going to see it, so it doesn't really matter. Now, this is where I learned something new. I'm reaching for my liquid adhesive to glue Pom Poms onto this string. Hindsight, okay, probably put the Pom Poms on before you glue it down to your project, Corey. But I didn't. So I put liquid glue and then I held it down onto the project. I'm just cutting slits into my pre-colored images here so that they can sit on the bike. And at first I put them on wrong, and I had to adjust it later. You'll see it in the final photos that I did catch it. Anyway, grab some glue dots and use glue dots to adhere these Pom Poms onto your string. That was way more simple, and when my Pom Poms fell off, I used glue dots. I'm putting some really thin foam adhesive strips from Doris onto the back of this panel here, and I'm gonna just adhere it down to the background. So at this point, I'm concentrating on putting this foam and popping up my images, and I have no clue that I forgot to stamp the sentiment. I mean, I need a vacation because I'm making a lot of mistakes these days. Anyway, I get all of my images adhered with foam tape, and of course the legs of the critters are wrong at this point, but I do fix that at the end, off camera. But now I've got to stamp the sentiment, and I'm really nervous that I'm going to ruin it. I've got VersaMark Onyx black ink here. I've got it all lined up in my Misty. Fingers crossed that this doesn't destroy anything that I've already done and have to start over, because it took me days to color those images. So I stamped it, and it worked. I was so excited that it worked. Now, I have to say that I really dropped the ball by not getting the coordinating dies for this set, because the dies cut out that white space on the bike, and now I really wish that I had those. Find me on Instagram for more crafty card fun and more of me. Yeah. So subscribe if you like what you see, and stay tuned for some footage of my son and my husband teaching him terrible, terrible things.
Dexter, come back. Get hide. Here she goes. Here we go.
Is it gonna be clear?
Which way is she coming? Go check. Jason, go check. She found us.
I will leave you guys here.
No.
Dexter.
No.
I'm gonna
Dad.
your butt.
It's my opinion.
No, it's my opinion. Mine.
It's my opinion.
No, mine.
Skeletor. Your pants fell down.
Where you going? It's my opinion.
No, mine.
It's mine. Stop hitting yourself, Mommy.
Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Jeez.
Let me try that again.
That hurts. Be easy.
Stop
Ow!
hitting yourself.
You're supposed to use my hand.
Oh.
Like this. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Okay. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.